Hey guys, welcome to my pain cave. Today I am starting a video series, or this is going to be the first in a video series on mental strength and resilience. If I am being completely honest, I'm not very comfortable with those two labels or words or banners, mental strength and resilience, kind of that it or they encapsulate everything I'm trying to share, everything I've learned. But I I'm using them because I think there's a good link or a good association between those words and what I'm teaching, and the essence of what I'm teaching will come from those two things. But I honestly, I know it's a bigger show. It's a bigger thing that I'm attempting to articulate and share with you guys today. But we're gonna plow forward with those two banners. So, as far as I'm concerned, and what I've learned is that there's two keys to mental strength or resilience, and they are awareness and concentration. Now we'll get to them very shortly. As you can see here, I've done a chart or a whiteboard with kind of some points and keys around everything I'm going to share today, and I'll take a picture of that and I'll post it along with this video for you guys, just to have a visual and something you can refer back to. And obviously I'm not expecting everybody to absorb every syllable of every word I say here and understand it. This is a long journey, it's a difficult journey, and it will take persistence, and it will take time. So to have this to refer back to, and more of course, will be very helpful. So on that note, I know, or I believe at least, that there is a couple of prerequisites before we get any further that have to be mentioned, that should be made clear around maximizing. That's important. Maximizing your this journey and your deep dive into mental strength and resilience. So that's not to say that like what I mentioned here can't be used, but I think without the first prerequisite, which is having a vehicle, or having a avenue, or having something in your life with huge meaning and purpose and passion, something that is bigger than you, that is a goal or an achievement that you want to get to, that is bigger than just you. Having that as a driver will exponentially improve your capacity to go far in this journey and deep dive really into the details and endure and persevere. I think without having something like that, if you just come into this going, I want to get mentally stronger, I don't think it's big enough. I don't think it's I think you're putting a cap or a ceiling on yourself from the start. That's not to say you're not going to learn a lot and improve and develop and grow as a person and grow your capabilities and mental capacities. You will. But I think you're going to experience, the way I have set up my model and my learning around this, you're going to experience really difficult moments and times. And without having something that can push you back into them and push you out to find the way out the other side, and then get all the learning around that, or push you back into those spaces, and if you fail, have the self accountability to to come back at it and try again. I think you need something with massive meaning and purpose in your life, and that can be many things. Hopefully it's around you growing as a person and becoming a better version of yourself, and maybe even on a really strong internal kind of spiritual journey, to uncover those dark corners and to expose them, and then to learn from them, and then to expand yourself. So I'm kind of getting into what I talked about earlier now, about this being bigger than just mental strength, but it's a nice mention all the same. The second thing is that there's no secret. there's no secret to building your mental strength. If there is a secret, the secret is there's no secret. It takes practice, it takes practice, it takes practice, it takes practice. How do you get better at anything? Practice, 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 practice. Effort, effort, effort. Effort is undervalued, massively undervalued in today's society. Effort, effort, effort. Perseverance, 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 perseverance. It will not be easy. You don't want it easy. You don't want easy in your life. This will be hard. Embrace the hard. The rewards will be extraordinary. There is no secret. Effort, effort, effort. Practice, practice, practice. Okay. So I'll move on now to the first element, or the first key of mental strength: awareness, right? So if you're not aware of what your mind is saying to you, you cannot change it. When do you need mental strength? Like, when do you need resilience? It's not when things are going great and everything's hunky-dory and you're living in this lollipop fucking bunny rabbit Disney movie. No, it's when things get really tough and hard and chaotic and stressful and anxious, when you get dark and negative and you find yourself in tough spots. That's when you need it. And if you're not aware of what your mind is saying to you when you're in those moments, well, you can't change it. So building that self-awareness is key. Now, how do we practice that? Personally, I have learned and I have developed my self-awareness and grown it and expanded it through body first. So connecting with my body, placing my body in stressful, chaotic, uncomfortable, fatigue states, and then pushing through them and learning from that experience and doing it again and again and again. That is my model. That is what I pin my hat to. I love the Mike Tyson expression or quote, everybody has a plan till they're punched in the face. I think it's unbelievably applicable to this, because there is other ways you can practice self-awareness, and they do have merit and they do have huge power. But so I'm thinking of meditation and mindfulness and journaling, but they're all well and good. But what about the day you get punched in the face? What about the day where you get the gut check moment? What about the day where you are in such chaos internally through physical pain and fatigue and lactic acid, and you have to step up and push through that? You think your journaling and you think your mindfulness and you think your meditation is going to push you through that? Doubtful. You gotta be used to those moments. You've got to embrace stress. You've got to have embraced your fears, your vulnerabilities, and pushed yourself back there again and again, and had that kinesthetic learning by doing that is impossible to otherwise accomplish. So yeah, building a daily practice around our awareness is really good. Like, my daily practice is training. Like, it mightn't be daily, but it's 5-6 times a week, right? And I put myself in those places. Another daily practice I have where it puts me in a uncomfortable mental place that is very accessible to everyone is cold water immersion. So getting into the sea, 4, 5, 6 days a week. These two practices are really powerful, and they kind of encapsulate everything. I also like to, even when I talk about mindfulness and journaling, they are a part of my practice in and around my training. Like, because you'll see when we get to the concentrations, the next part, that a big one of those is position and technique, which is almost like a body scan in mindfulness. And then I like to journal afterwards. If shit comes up in the training session, I like to jot it down in a what comes up process, and that helps me accelerate my learning. So I feel like my model kind of hits everything, but just what I've discovered is a good way to put it, and what I practice every day hits on all these different parts, and that's what makes it so powerful, and that's what accelerates your learning, and that's why it's so strong in tough moments. So here I've written down a few things. So awareness, before control comes awareness. So we're going to get to the control part. And how do we build our self-awareness? Body first, I talked about. Embracing stress, I talked about. Challenge, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, states, places. This can be physical, mental, emotional. It doesn't always have to be physical. People talk about something I've found difficult as well is public speaking, putting yourself out there. Just find something that you can do on the regular that can put you into those places of discomfort. Embrace your fears and vulnerabilities. Do this in small bites or steps, because that takes a lot of emotional energy to do that. So that might be something that you might do every, have some challenge every 3-4 months, or one big one every year or 2 years that, kind of embraces that. And then I talked about the other ones below that. So the next step then is concentration. So concentration, what does that do? How does that help? So so first thing I'd say is it has a couple of different effects. It affects your state and it affects time, right? So when you concentrate on something within your control, it brings you back into the present moment, and you cannot be stressed or anxious in the present moment. The effect that has on time is quite extraordinary. It's like it vanishes time, or the power of time over your state is neutralized, and you're just in this concentrated, neutral, calm, like time doesn't exist. So that's only if you put it into, you concentrate on something within your control. If you concentrate on something outside of your control, it has quite the opposite effect. It puts you in a really weak, heavy, dark, pressurized time bubble. And that's where people break, and that's where people quit, and that's where people stop. So we are trying to avoid that, right? So we concentrate on what's in our control. Concentration is or what you concentrate on is a choice. That choice can be very difficult to make when you're under that stress of fatigue or pain or darkness or negativity or discomfort or chaos or resistance. So if you think about concentration as a reset, it resets your mind back into control, and the effects that has then helped you push forward in whatever you're doing. So I have found that there's 4 things that I can concentrate on that bring my mind back into control, and I call them the 4 controllables. They are position and technique, which I mentioned before. They are effort, they are breath, and they are self-talk. There is a 5th controllable, but it's not really applicable. It's more applicable to daily life, and I'll talk about that another time. It's called decluttering. But for now, I just like to concentrate 4. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to do a video on each one and talk about how we can practice them and processes around them, and how we can use those processes to not only push through and learn, but also accelerate our learning around that. So for today, that's really it. So I'll just go over quickly, summarize what I talked about. So there's 2 keys to mental strength. They are awareness and they are concentration. So before control comes awareness. So if you're not clear, if you're not aware, if you're not have attention on what your mind and that conversation you're having with yourself in stressful moments is, you can't change it. And then how do we redirect? How do we change? We concentrate to bring ourselves back to that present moment, which is powerful in its state of neutrality and calmness and control. And we do that by focusing on choosing one at the time to concentrate on of the 4 controllables: position and technique, effort, breath, self-talk. I'll go into them in over the next few videos. For now, any questions, just pop them in below. Happy to expand on this and look forward to sharing more with you guys. Cheers, thanks.